In functional programming, since functions are treated as first-class citizens, we can assign functions to variables. We call such variables as function variables. As we can see here, we have two function variables, hello and add. We assign a function to hello, we assign a function to add. So they are function variables. Now to call a function variable, we would just call it in the same way in which we call a normal function. So we just specify hello and add to call these function variables. Now there is a difference when you invoke the function variable and specify the parenthesis, and when you invoke the function variable without specifying the parenthesis. So as you can see here, you invoke add and specify the parenthesis and pass in the arguments. So when you do it this way, the function is executed and the result is returned and saved in K. When you invoke the function variable without specifying the parenthesis, the function is just defined and it is called at a later time in this fashion. So when the parenthesis is specified, it is executed. When the parenthesis is not specified, it is just defined. Now this is how we would write a normal JavaScript function and then call it. And this is when we make use of a function variable. Now the difference is when we do not make use of a function variable, or rather when we just write a normal function and call it. So when we call the function before the definition or after the definition, we get the expected output, here high in this case. When we make use of a function variable, when we call the function variable before it is defined, it is undefined. So that is the difference. So when we make use of a function variable, we can write code wherein we can rename the built-in functions for better readability. Also, we can have functions dynamically assigned to variables during runtime, typically useful during debugging. Now let us see a simple example of function variable. So in order to print results to the console in JavaScript, we make use of console.log and print out the results. Typically in a real world script, you may have many console.log statements that prints out certain data to the console. Okay, so rather than having console.log, probably we can make use of function variables and name console.log to a much more readable name, say print. So we create a variable called as print and then set it equal to console.log. Now before we actually use print, let us test if this program works by issuing node and the file name. So you can see the following message is printed. Now rather than making use of console.log, let us make use of function variable and say print instead of console.log. So we can go to edit and do a find replace and replace console.log with print and save it. Yeah, we need to change this so that it is not print, rather it is console.log. Now if we run this, we get the same output, but rather now we have a much more better concise code. So note here, in this example, we say print equal to console.log without the parenthesis. So this is just the definition and this is the call. If we would have said this way, it is essentially console.log being executed, but this is not what we want. So if we do it this way and run it, as you can see, type error, print is not a function. It is essentially undefined. Thank you.